Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're in the world. Welcome to Meet Menaca to celebrate you. Today, we are going to be speaking another important topic with Amparo Villamil. She's going to be speaking about living with young onset Parkinson's. Before we start, I want to wish each and every one of you happy International Happiness Day. The entire point of life is to be happy. So, of course, we have challenges, particularly for the last few months, everyone has faced that. But beyond that, how we can celebrate each moment and make the most of every single minute is what life is all about. So, hopefully, you will all have days filled with happiness. Why are we talking about Parkinson's today? Parkinson's is a progressive neurological condition almost with no cure. Only medication can just slow down the progression, as far as I know. I'm no expert in this. This condition is the impact of gradual loss of dopamine in the brain, as far as I am aware. And that can affect the motor and non-motor functions. So let's ask from the expert by experience, Amparo Villamil, when she shares her insight as a person who had Parkinson's at a younger age than usual, and how she has become the ambassador for it. So, Amparo, Parkinson's is a progressive neurological condition, which means these problems can be progressive and become more difficult over time. In the UK, they say around 145,000 people are already living with Parkinson's. Every hour, 2 more people are diagnosed, which means it's almost like 18,000 people every year. 1 in 37 people alive today will be diagnosed with Parkinson's in their lifetime. And that is the statistics. So I know you are an advocate for Parkinson's in the UK and actively campaign to increase awareness and increase support for charities in this field. So what motivated you to become an advocate? Over to you, Amparo.
Hello, everyone. When I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, it took me by total surprise. And people associate Parkinson's with the elderly. It is mainly a disease of the elderly because Parkinson's is the loss of dopamine, which means that you affects your motor and non-motor abilities. Therefore, it is what happens in aging. But in Parkinson's, the loss of dopamine is very, very quick. So it was total by surprise. I really did not expect it. A person with at my age 43, the last thing I expected was to have Parkinson's. I was strong, could cope with everything, never had any major problems in my life, no operations, nothing. It just I did not expect it. So then when I went to find out about the problem, the groups available there were only for elderly. And of course, a person of 43 and a retired person, it affects them differently. So it was not relevant to me, the groups of the older people. I needed to be with people that were similar age and similar problems to me. Like you need, when you're young, you have your family probably growing up. My family was still growing. You have to be financially secure. You have your whole life ahead of you. You're not settled. So that's why I have become interested in sharing my using my voice to make people aware of the need to deal with awareness of Parkinson's.
Sure. Thank you, Amparo. It's like very insightful. And I know it is perhaps, like you said, it's not the easiest thing to be diagnosed at a younger age, and you don't expect this. So James Parkinson's described Parkinson's as a shaky palsy 200 years ago. So after 200 years on, do you feel there's enough awareness about it in general population?
I feel that things have changed recently. There has not been, only recently there has been research. The only medication that was kind of effective is levodopa, but it doesn't stop the progression. It just works for a little while. And so I think at the moment, it's a moment in time that this is really, there's a possibility of some treatments for for the disease. Parkinson's has many symptoms. Each person is different. So there won't be a one-off cure. It will be different treatments that will cover different symptoms. But at the moment there is the major research going on, like of how to replace the dopamine. So there is a possibility, still not happened, but there's in the pipeline. I think there is a possibility. In fact, I am a member of Parkinsons UK, and they have a challenge to find at least one treatment in the next 4 years. So
Sure.
I'm very hopeful that it will come through, because I have met the person in charge of the board of trustees, who I really think is a person with Parkinson's, and he really will use the funding very effectively, because he's a very professional person with a committee of people that are they know they are interested in finding a solution. So it is a
Sure.
good, but it's only now that is in the last 10 years there has been some major work through, and
Sure.
Michael J. Fox in America. But before that, there wasn't anything for only when the levodopa came out in the 60s. But so I'm hopeful that something will come through.
Sure. Thank you so much, Amparo. And I think later on, we will share in our, particularly we have a WhatsApp group and we have a Facebook group. We will share the Parkinson's UK link for everybody to see, so that if you know someone or you know someone who supports someone who is having Parkinson's, you could share these resources with them. Going forward, I know that we are talking about awareness in the general public so far. So coming back to you, Amparo, how much did you know about Parkinson's prior to getting diagnosed with it?
I I hardly knew anything. I only knew one person, and the image that I was given of that person, it was that it was a desperate image. A friend of mine, his mother had Parkinson's, and everybody felt really sorry for that person, and like it was the end of the road. And so I did not know anything, and so it took me by surprise. And I had a very bad. When I was diagnosed by the doctor, he just told me, "You have Parkinson's," and with not much hope. So I think one of the problems when people face, that many people with Parkinson's say, is that when they are diagnosed, they just go to the neurologist and they're given you have Parkinson's, and everybody has, my goodness, Parkinson's is for the elderly. It's terrible. It's going to destroy your life. But they should. There is a campaign now, an effort to make sure that people have the right support, that they do not come out of the neurologist room with a terrible tragedy happening in their life. They have someone to hold their hand, and I did not know. I think many people are like me. They do not know much, and
Sure.
the is not good. So
I mean, thank you so much for being so candid about it. Because even for me personally, we have had a couple of diagnoses of Parkinson's in the extended family, and then definitely meeting you and be it knowing someone who is an ambassador for Parkinson's. Just to give a gist of it, I know Amparo from Toastmasters. Other than being an ambassador, she's also a Toastmaster, and I have great admiration for Amparo. She's always shows up and she's always speaking about Parkinson, and she's trying always her best to help everyone. So, so obviously that kind of kindled the interest for me. And then, of course, I went and looked it up a bit further. But you are spot on. Usually, not many people go and look for Parkinson's thinking it is not something what happens at a young age or middle age. So I think it is really important to have that awareness that it can happen. So moving forward, there are almost 50 symptoms or even more, I guess. But generally, people, including me, before I went in, did some reading about the subject, I always thought signs and symptoms of Parkinson's is just about being the three S's: the shaking, the slow movement, and stiffness. Shaking being having the tremors. But I am sure there are so much more wider symptoms and signs what people experience. Can you please enlighten the participants and audience uh, about how that experience has been and what are the difficulties people really face?
When I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, the moment that my finger began to shake, that was the first sign I thought. But it was not. It's the resting tremor is called when you have a shake when you're resting. That was not. That's when I was diagnosed. But the disease had started many, many years before, probably 20 years before. There's no clear. One of the things that the general public needs to can help with is taking part in projects um, that take people with not the disease for research to predict Parkinson's. Parkinson's is a disease that is on the increase, and it will become like a major health threat, even greater than now, because it's increasing drastically according to the information available. So it would be good if it could be predicted in time. There are some symptoms that appear very early on. For me, for example, before my diagnosis, maybe 10, 15 years before, I had symptoms. One of them on its own doesn't mean anything, but put a few together, it can mean a lot. So if you know that you have a problem, for example, the loss of sense of smell, it decreases many, it's one of the first symptoms. Small handwriting and disturbed sleep, constipation, urinary problems. If you have one of the problems on its own, doesn't mean anything. But if you look out for them, once you have two or three, you can start thinking that there may be a possibility of Parkinson's, because, and that's when they probably can, maybe you can start looking after your dopamine, the treatments that take care of your dopamine. And you can do this by, anyone can knows for sure that no matter if Parkinson's affects them or not, by doing exercise, mental exercise and body exercise, you're looking after your dopamine, you're keeping it happy, you're definitely benefiting yourself. For me, keeping my mind occupied with different things like Toastmasters, being on the show, it really helps me because I'm thinking about other things. So so it is, that is my answer to your question.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Amparo. I'm just, really surprised that awareness of these symptoms are still not there out there. And even me, as I said before, I went and intentionally started reading into it. I wasn't aware. I just knew these three S's, that people move a bit slow, they will have more stiffness, they shake or tremor, and that's all I knew about it. And then of course, when I started reading and got to know that people can have a bit of dementia, people can have mood changes, people can have, but I still didn't know about this constipation and loss of smell and stuff. Like, so I think so it shows us how much more has to be done to increase that awareness for the general public, because this is not something people go and look for. So being a person as of an advocate and also experiencing it, would you be able to tell that is it genetically predisposed, or how is it just individual person that can get it, Amparo?
There's some is family related, but quite a lot is just circumstances. It might be something that affects, that crosses us in our path. Like it's not clear why the dopamine dies. I mean, there has been some breakthrough at the moment that they are beginning to understand why it dies down. So
Sure.
so the thing is that. You cannot predict Parkinson's at the moment, and I think the effort of the public for your own good, because there's going to be lots of people, is to find out back projects that predict Parkinson's, so that that the doctors at one stage, they will be able to, when you go to them, they will be able to have a kind of test that will say you are predisposed to have Parkinson's. This is what you have to do, what we can do. So that's one of the major steps that I think there's something research at the moment that is relevant to that, and that's one of the areas that we have to cross. I don't think there's any way, as far as I know, there can be things that can cause Parkinson's. There can be major shocks, major shocks to your body, pesticides, but it's not clear, because maybe you and I cross the same place, and because I'm predisposed to that, I get Parkinson's, and you face the same situation, and because you're not, you don't get it.
Mhm.
For
Sure.
me, I think my Parkinson's began when I was, well before that, I was diagnosed at the age 43. I think when I was 29, I had a major viral infection, and it really rendered me very in bed for about 3 weeks. And my mother always said that I have never been the same after that. So
Mhm.
probably was the viral infection that really destroyed some of my, and started them. So, and there's no clear. So I think my message today is, if the general public should seek uh,
Mhm.
to find a way of predicting it and avoid the problem to many people, because it's not, it's a progressive condition that impacts your quality of life. And no matter how well you look after yourself, it will eventually impact you somehow.
Sure.
And it's a gradual change, so you don't see it going through, but it happens little by little.
I guess the crux of what you're saying, if you are in doubt, err in the side of caution. It's always better to be safe than sorry. I guess that's the message. I think what is coming through from you.
I want to say, sorry, can I say,
Of
please
course.
do not ignore symptoms just because you think you're very strong. If you see a symptom, if you have a symptom that was loss of smell or anything that there are many symptoms of Parkinson's. Some of them appear early on, some of them later, but some are hidden, depression, fatigue, things like that, because the dopamine is the happy one, and if you lose it, you become so. So that's is one of the things. Is my message is, do not ignore the thing. Deal with the problem. If it's better to be safe than sorry, and the symptoms appear early on, and maybe working together we can tackle this, because it will affect many people.
Thank you so much, Amparo. It is such an important topic, and I'm so glad that you actively take part in all these things and you really bring this awareness, because not many people, like you said, know about it. It's all starts from awareness and knowledge, right? Because you don't know what you don't know, and I think that is a great place to start. So, as someone who has experienced it firsthand, what would you like to share to broaden the insight of someone who is interested in knowing how it affects your life in general?
If it's a person with, if it's to start with, I think many people, it's the shock of the diagnosis. It doesn't really, you don't really see many symptoms, because, and it's mentally, it's very difficult. I think many people will find it very mentally challenging to start with, and that's the problem. To some, I would say that my message that I want to put across is that to people that may go on to have Parkinson's in the future, or people around you, it is a catastrophic situation. Of course, your life it affects, but not to start with. But also, you can get a lot out of. You are in the boat, you cannot get out of it, but you have to row along, and if you, depending on how you row along, you have a better journey of worst. So it is the way you deal with it that will affect your life. For example, I joined Toastmasters. It really is, it's really mentally very stimulating to me, because it keeps my mind on other things. I meet lots of interesting people, and all the people that go to groups or support groups are seeking good things in their lives. So the impact reaches me rather than being isolated. So my life changes, but it depends how you. It's not an easy journey, but the way you deal with it makes the difference. And for people that are going to be diagnosed, do not give up. Look for support groups that help you, and you will find lots of good people to help you along with the journey.
Thank you, Amparo, because I know you surround yourself with a lot of people, and particularly you are, as you said, you're in a lot of support groups for Parkinson's as well. So, how do you see them dealing with them, or how do you see Parkinson's affecting those people's day-to-day life?
The people with Parkinson's, so day-to-day life affects everything. it's a gradual change, but for me, it is you're not able to do as many things as you want to, because when you're first diagnosed, the first instance is to react and exercise and go crazy and try to rebel against it. But I think the way forward is to yes accept it and do look after yourself, but just work with it. And it affects people in many people have to give up their jobs. They have highly successful jobs, like a friend of mine is a solicitor, and he's still a solicitor, but not to the same scale. So it impacts. And imagine being diagnosed, and you know that when you receive the diagnosis your life is going to change. So, and it's not only in the body, but it's your body that is being impacted because you're not able to do as many things. As time goes by, it affects slowness of movement. You have to take more medication to treat it, and but it's also around you. It affects because you're not able to work at the same level. So it has an impact on people's lives. So it affects Parkinson's affects everybody. There's no question about that, and it affects in the mobility, being able to drive, being able to work full time. It decreases the amount of things that you can do. So I always say it's like most people live their life like on a motorway. You know, you go on a motorway fast, not looking at what you're doing. But then people with Parkinson's, for me, I feel that I just have to go by the back road, go slowly. So it's not easy. It's a slower journey. But at the same time, you really get to think about what is going on around you and appreciate things around you, because well, having a condition like this is not good, but it really makes you appreciate what you have, and you don't take things for granted anymore. So it's the body personally affects the way you motor, no motor, but also your state of mind.
Sure. Thank you so much, Amparo. I think it's so important, and I think what you're doing is amazing because not many people come out and share their experiences, and that's the only way we are going to get to know. I know that particularly on this platform, we usually have a lot of doctors, but I think when someone who is experiencing it coming and talking about it is a very different ballgame because we get insights about that person, how the family deals with it, how other people deal with it, and it's really you know, very important information and a resource which is useful for everyone. So you, in your words as well, you said that Parkinson's disease is caused by loss of nerve cells in part of the brain, but we still do not know how exactly and why it happens. Am I correct in saying that, Amparo?
Well, I'm not a medical expert, but
Yeah,
as I said, there seems to be some sort of research that is giving more explanations, but there's still
sure. Yeah.
not the explanation. You cannot take a recipe to avoid Parkinson's. Look after
Look
your
after you.
brain, your body, and your well-being, and you will help with with avoiding, maybe help with not having looking better delaying the problem. But with many other diseases like dementia or whatever, looking after yourself is a very important thing for anyone, but people with Parkinson's. Exercise is just as important as medication. It's a well-known fact. This is why I'm taking part in the Time to Run for Parkinson's fundraising event, which is can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Parkinson's UK. I am a member of Parkinson's UK, volunteer, and I give talks to care homes. I started doing that not under the pandemic. So, so we must support the charity and so
Sure.
fundraising. I'm doing the fundraising for the working age group for Camden. I am. We are fundraising. Money will go to research and to support Parkinson's UK, who are there to provide information for people, which is very good, essential. Because whenever you're diagnosed with Parkinson's, you don't know where to go. You just go to the Parkinson's UK website, and you put your postcode, and you get information of local groups
Mhm.
for the normal, for the elderly, or for working age groups, and for activities. There is lots of information to help you exercise. You can do whatever you want. You can be Parkinson's is there, and we're fundraising for that. And it's um, time to
Yeah,
run for Parkinson's. If you want to, if you have a few spare pounds to support the charity, it would be very much appreciated. It would be, for me, stimulation because not only because of fundraising, but a personal satisfaction that I have done something to help the the charity and people that need the help.
sure. Thank you so much, Amparo. And I have told this many times over the couple of years I knew you. You are such a true inspiration for many people who see you around, and how you put your heart and soul into all these things. So you did mention Parkinson's UK. Where else can people find out more about Parkinson's in general?
Parkinson's, well, you can, in the UK, there's through your doctor, there is they do have there are lots of Parkinson's nurses
Mhm,
you can find through your doctor, and they're quite good because they help with lots of information, and
mhm.
Parkinson's nurses are one of the main elements of um, of of coping with the problem at any age, because the doctors is easier than dealing with the doctors all the time. But
Sure.
the pharmacies, you go to a pharmacy, the pharmacists should know quite a lot. I mean, I am, because I really got all my information from Parkinson's UK, because they kind of are the main charity. There are lots of other charities like, um, there's a charity that Tommy Sachs was a person with Parkinson's, and he found a cure for Parkinson's. I think he set up the charity. He unfortunately died, but he was a very good ambassador for. He died through another problem, a condition with the heart. But he's my hero because he was a person with Parkinson, and he set the foundation, another foundation which is has fundraisers for finding a cure. And he took a major part in the funding and the drive towards the GDNF research that is taking place at the moment. That took place, did not go very well last year. You might have seen a program on TV about drilling into the brain, because the
Mhm.
dopamine, they want to know how to inject it, and it's really difficult to replace it. They have the how to insert it in the brain. So they're doing more on that. So basically, through doctors, you can get it, or through charities like Parkinson's UK. I'm not aware of
Sure. Sure. Thank
where
you
you
so.
can get.
I'm sure, like, Kirubai and Tali and Prafan, we all can. I'm sure we can do some research, and we'll share that resources, whatever we can, in our WhatsApp group and Facebook group later on. So, you know, it's as you know personally, when you are diagnosed with Parkinson's, it doesn't only affect the person who is diagnosed, it affects people around them, the loved ones, their families, their friends, the working environment. So it is, it is just not just the problem of a single person. What advice can you give for those people around the people who are diagnosed with them, or the loved ones, how they can cope with it and support the person who has been diagnosed, Amparo?
I have very strong views on that. When I was diagnosed, I met one of the people that helped me a lot was a gentleman from the Barnet branch, Mr. Monks, and I like to mention them by name because he passed away. He was probably his 80s, and also
Sure.
Raymond Turner from the Harrow branch, and
Mhm,
they inspired me to. They supported me to. They were there for me when I
mhm,
needed them, and I saw that they had like one of them, Mr. Monks, was a sufferer, and Mr. Turner was the carer. His wife
mhm,
was had Parkinson, and from them, both of them, I learned the families really. I saw them in meetings, treated them with respect.
mhm,
Do not assume because the person, you do not speak on behalf of the person, even if the voice is gone. You allow them to talk, even if it is at do not take over their lives. Do not talk on their behalf. Do not give opinions. They're still a person. Personal dignity is important, no matter what. And there is a chance that people will become patronizing. And I think that's one of the elements, I think. And also from the person with the Parkinson's, I also think they have to also be aware that it's not all about them. People have a life around them. So it's only the person with Parkinson's also be to be aware that they may have a problem, but they have to respect that other people have a life. But the people around should be respectful and give them their space. And I think that's and what they can work together with each other and accept the situation. With my family, we have to deal with it. And my family knows about my problem. As okay, Amparo, you have Parkinson's. You get on with it. We do what we can, but you just they don't mollycoddle me. I'm just another person. So that's it. Respect and help each other.
So, would you agree, Amparo? It's important to support them, but not overdo it and mollycoddle them, in your words. It's like it's a really fine balance to maintain as a person who is supporting them.
Yes, it's having the wrong person, being a person with your own territory, not don't make people feel that you're reliant on other people. Self dignity. I think listening to the person is important, and being aware of what is just not talking on their behalf, just respecting the person's wishes. I think is important. That will make the persons like me feel important when I go to meetings like Toastmasters. When I first went into Toastmasters, the first thing I said, I have Parkinson's, I may have a problem. Now I have changed my attitude because I've been surrounded by the right people say, I am Amparo. I like to do talks, but that's because I have been given the right support. I've been surrounded by encouraging people, and has taken me along the right road. Had I been surrounded by people that discouraged me, I would have not hidden away and not done anything. So supporting, listening to other people is important.
Yes. I mean, I am always, amazed. Every single competition I have witnessed in the club, until now in the Toastmasters Club, Amparo is always takes part in the competitions. She's in the committee, and she's actively always there, supporting everyone else and cheering everyone. When I wrote the book, she spoke about my book. I think you have that personality which really helps you to encourage others and yourself. Would you agree with that comment, Amparo?
I think it opens. It really made me having Parkinson's really took me on a journey that I take pay much more attention at what is out there, and I don't take for granted that I'll be able to do things all the time. So I appreciate everything, and one of the benefits, I think everything bad has there's something good that comes out of something bad, is that it forces you to do other things. um, so in hindsight, maybe me having Parkinson's wasn't a bad thing because I looked after my family. I stayed home and I looked after the finances. So maybe financially, maybe the family is better off because I did not go to a 40-hour job. And so maybe that's the way to. Who knows if that was the solution? But I think you appreciate things more, and therefore when I do things, I appreciate being doing different things and reaching different targets. I was quite shy to start with, but now I think is although when I was one of the things that people with Parkinson's, when I go to meetings, working age groups, was the newly diagnosed, they say, "Oh, it's sure you don't want the symptoms to show." And because I have had Parkinson's for 16 years, I think that's the list of their problems. It doesn't matter if you see the shakiness, but is the shame in having a disease. But I did not realize that I did not do anything to get it. But to start with, you're very ashamed of your physical showing it, and your voice, your movement, because we have dyskinesia, because that is one of the side effects of medication that makes you shake. So whenever I'm doing Toastmasters, I laugh because they evaluate me and they say, you should smile more, you should more, your voice should be louder. And it's all Parkinson's, but I know that, but people are realizing, but I accepted it. So it is, you get to appreciate things more, and look out for the good in people, because nothing is forever, and you really face, in truth, I think, you really face, it's a challenge. You have to take it seriously. You're having a, so it takes you out of your comfort zone, having Parkinson's, definitely. That's my answer to your question.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Amparo. So, we can support being by being part of research, or you can give financial support. There are different ways people can support the Parkinson's, particularly being advocates. I'll leave to the expert. How can people support?
Well, there are many ways that you can support. I mean, as I am volunteer for Parkinsons UK, I know this is a charity that has everything out there. You look at the charity and you look at many opportunities, taking part in research, taking part in activities like running, walking, paragliding, you name it. You can have fun at the same time, raise money for the charity, or you can use it for work for young people. They can volunteer to work for. You can volunteer to work as a young person in the charity, or anyone can be a member of the local groups and support them, through their time. Um, it can be satisfactory if somebody, there might be people out there that need something to fulfill their lives, and being given by giving a member of the support groups, and being of the committee can be very rewarding to the people that can offer the time. So just look, and you find all opportunities there. So
Thank you so much, Amparo. I just want to ask, is if you want to give three advices to someone, and what would those three advices be?
someone in what situation? Somebody, what would that person be? Who would that person be? Who would that person be? Somebody with Parkinson's, somebody that is
Who is with Parkinson's? Let's go with that first.
person with Parkinson's that have just been diagnosed. I think, please do not waste your time worrying about what will be, because what will be. But you concentrate on the solution. Start looking after yourself, looking for good things to do in life. I think, my message is, I was so worried, petrified at the beginning, that I wasted time unnecessarily. The problem is there, so there's no point in worrying about it. You just look for a solution, and you'll be much better off. For the medical profession, I think, for the neurologist, I would like to say, please be more caring when giving the diagnosis. Make sure that the person that doesn't walk out of the consulting room with no help, that they're walking out with someone to reach out to. And um, and to the general public, I would say, it is in your interest to help find a way to predict Parkinson's. Better, the to prevent than the cure. So, that is what I'm promoting. And with anything, exercise your mind and body, and you'll be better off. Your life will be better no matter what.
Sure, Amparo. I have always seen you as a very positive person, and I'm sure everyone who knows you know that you are really a positive person. So, what is the one or two things which has helped you to remain positive?
Having a lovely family around me. I have a lovely husband and lovely children, and having the support groups. I made lots of friends through through the through the support groups, and I feel probably I have more network through that situation. I have a lot of friends that are there, and that will I can reach out to them. So I have lots of people with Parkinson's I keep in touch with, and so I do have people around me that are great. Great. Life is great, in spite of Parkinson's and making your body weak. But as long as you keep your mind good. That's you can do. It's up to the each person that has Parkinson's. Only you can fight it. Only you can find your way through life. Others can help you a little bit, but it's up to you to look for the road because nobody can do the work for you.
Sure. And I totally agree. Amparo does know many people. Whenever I have to do a project or I am doing something, Amparo immediately sends me, you can connect with this person, you can connect with this person, it might be helpful. And Amparo has this myriad of people in her network. So I can testament to that one for sure. Uh, Thank you so much, Amparo, for being candid, for being so transparent. And as ever, you have been very giving and supportive in whatever you said. It's really always a pleasure to listen to you speaking about, because you're very passionate about this topic, and rightly so. And I really, really hope many more people would come out and speak about these important topics, which really will help a lot more people. So before I wrap this up and we go to questions and answers, what is the one word or one line you would like to say?
Enjoy your life. Enjoy life. Life is great.
Thank
That's
you
what I
so
want to
much.
say.
Thank you so much. So I think if at all anything I have to take home today, it is life. There is life beyond Parkinson's. So I think it is. I think that's what Amparo is trying to say. There is life beyond Parkinson's. So even if you're diagnosed, if you know someone who is diagnosed, please encourage them to look at the positive sides and learn to live with it. But also think there is so much you can still do even if you are diagnosed with
Yeah.
Parkinson. Is that fair to say that, Amparo?
Yes, I think so. Just accept it and get on with it in whatever best way you can, because that's the only way forward.
Sure. Okay. So thank you so much, Amparo. Please hold on. We are not finished yet. So we will be going to the Q&A in a minute. Prior to that, I just want to, following tradition, I want to inform everyone. Next week, same time, same place, we will be speaking about mindful co-parenting, where a mother and daughter will be coming and talking about their experiences, how both her parents co-parented her in a separated family. So Sandra Jayakodi and Tamara Jayakodi would be coming and speaking about mindful co-parenting next time. So hopefully you can join. And I think it is, and many people know that I'm a single parent myself. And I think not enough has been said and done and spoken about how you can positively co-parent. It is because when you separate, it is just two adults separating their lives. But whereas when you have family, when you have children, you have to put the focus on the child and focus on what is good for them. I think that's the most important thing. And so I think that is a skill everyone has to learn. And specifically, because I am from this part of the world of South Asia, I can tell we definitely have to learn that skill. So I think I can't wait for them to come and speak about that topic. So before we go to Q&A, I am going to ask Rohan Mehra to give the vote of thanks, please.
Yes, but I'm sure my words will resonate or do the job of covering up for the echoes. So first and foremost, I just want to say one thing to begin with, that yes, along with Menaca, I also know Amparo through Toastmasters. And whatever I know of her, every day or every time that I interact with her, meet her, it just becomes more endearing. Because I can say that confidently that she was perhaps the first person I actually spoke to at length in Toastmasters, because she was the vice president education and then I took over from her. And I have never seen a more energetic person. I mean, I would say that, yes, there was this one movie I remember seeing, which was called as Life is Beautiful.
Yeah.
And what I learned from that movie, I guess after that, the only movie which has actually made me motivated is what I was seeing from the last 45 minutes. So Amparo, kudos to you. Hats off to you for being as candid as you always are. And the best part is that fighting spirit. I really want to learn where you get it from. I mean, every line, I could only sense positivity. I did not hear a word about taking it as a problem, as a worry. And the point is, this support is what I see in terms of Amparo, not just for herself, but for all of us. And I guess that's what her personality is, and that's what has taken her places, and I'm sure will take her many more. So thank you so much for that lovely talk and lovely eye opener, Amparo. And I guess thank you so much for everybody for being a part of this, because I guess every topic that we're dealing in and day out is just an eye opener. The best part, I guess, for our platform and the way we are growing is that we are able to talk about topics which otherwise are just ignored. So I just have a small couplet as usual. I guess Menaca and Amparo are pretty much aware of me and my small poem. So yeah, here's to you, Amparo, and to everybody. Parkinson is surely not fun, but as Amparo said, it can affect anyone. Awareness about it is none. Ignorance is bliss, unfortunately, with a pun. A lot of awareness needs to be done. A lot of effort needs to be put so that this battle can be won. And when we have ambassadors like you, Amparo, I'm sure we all will win this battle very soon. Thank you so much, Amparo. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you all had a good time and a learning time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rohan, as ever, for the lovely vote of thanks. And I have to mention this. Life is Beautiful. The movie is. That's how almost I started my book, because the child is almost kept in a bubble without knowing what is going around in the life. So Life is Beautiful is a movie which is really close to my heart, and I couldn't believe when you started mentioning the same book. So that's why we are friends. Thank you so much. So let's go to the let's go for the questions. Amparo, you are having many questions being asked. So the first question is for you. Is Parkinson's disease fully curable? I think I already asked that question, but someone else has asked. So
no, it's not curable. There's no proper. Parkinson's has many symptoms, so there's no treatment. Each person with Parkinson's is different. But there's no. There's only the medication to slow the progression. There's some research. There is the brain stimulation, the operation that may stop the progression, but I think after a while it's not 100%. It's just there's a lot of work to be done. It's nothing really effective. People are affected quite severely as time goes by, irrelevant of whether there are operations or not, because you can tackle one condition and you might have another symptom. There are lots of symptoms, affects people in different ways. So there's no cure. So there has to be, but there is potential with the research being done now. If there is the funding, that something may come through. It's one of the moments in history that probably has more potential in the last 10 years.
Thank you so much, Amparo. I think it's important for people to understand that, and hopefully they will support these researchers more, so that actually they can move towards finding a bit more cure, isn't it? That's the entire point of your speech.
Medication also has side effects.
Sure.
So that's one of the problems. Really, it might tackle some of the medication might make your Parkinson's better, but it gives other problems like. There's some medication that can be has addiction to and there's some major problems. So sometimes medication is not they might treat the Parkinson's, but it produces so side effects are one of the major problems of medication.
Sure, thank you so much, Amparo. And there's a question: can alternative treatment show any progress for Parkinson's disease? Have you tried, or have you known anybody else to try alternative medicine?
Well, the major treatment for Parkinson's is medication, available therapies, and exercise. So it's definitely therapies doing looking after yourself. If that is what you mean, I don't know if I understood your question.
I think alternative therapies, they might be thinking about homeopathy, Ayurveda, or acupuncture or something like that. I think so, because I only have the question come to me, and person is not online.
Of course, it makes a lot of difference because your body becomes rigid and stiff. So if you do exercises, if you yoga is very good, mindfulness is very good, running heavy, very very forceful exercise is really good.
cardio.
So for people with Parkinson's, definitely will make a lot of difference to your life. It really is a major discovery that exercise can make as much difference as medication. But yeah, the problem, there was a film about an American gentleman who was very fit, but you could still see the lack of dopamine is there. But if if your body is nice and well working and well treated, it will deal better with the problem. So the problem is having the petrol, the dopamine coming through. But if it is in good condition, the body, it will be better for you. So yoga, yeah, definitely, people should definitely pursue that. And for me, is I tell the story about my dog. You might have heard my funny story about my.
Let us everyone hear, Amparo. That's a beautiful story. So let's hear that.
But it takes a lot of time. It's 5 minutes. You want me to?
I can give that 5 minutes. Yes.
You want me to do the speech? Well, I don't know if I remember it, but one Christmas, I am not prepared for it, but the story is the following. One Christmas, my husband was so anxious to give me the Christmas present, he couldn't wait. So off we went to get my Christmas present. He said, I have a wonderful present for you, a personal trainer. I thought, personal trainer, exercise? Exercise, who wants exercise? So he said, the name is Tyson. And I said, Tyson? Surely he's not going to give me a Hoover for Christmas. How dare he? No. It is Tyson, your personal trainer. And I thought, Tyson? Hold on, Tyson? A personal trainer? Must be, sounds interesting. Tyson, if there's anything like the Tyson I'm thinking about, that boxing, not bad. So off we went to meet my personal trainer, and we went to the local park. Certainly, Tyson was there. He was gorgeous. I wanted to run over to him and hug him, kiss him. He was lovely, adorable. He would have none of that. All he wanted to go was start the exercising, and off we went. And he started running faster and faster. I ran after him, but he wouldn't stop. Tyson, stop. He would not stop, you see. He was not a human. He was none other than a dog, a puppy, a German Shepherd puppy. That was my personal trainer. My husband had got me a puppy for Christmas. He was supposed to be my personal trainer. And he definitely has been for this last 7 years. In fact, he's here with me in Spain. And he every day took me for walks. He grew from being this little to over 40 kilos. Can you imagine? And every day, without fail, twice a day to the park. He's definitely my personal trainer. And he has kept me in good shape. So that's my story about Tyson.
Thank you so much. I have time for one question before we come off the live.
Can I ask Amparo?
Yeah, of course, Kanta.
More than a question, Amparo, I'm a consultant geriatrician. I look after advanced Parkinson disease patients.
Yes.
You made a very good point about telling that give time for the patient to talk and to listen to the patient, because I see patients brought by the relatives and they talk, they don't allow the patient to talk. So I had to stop some of the relative and say, can I speak to Mr. So-and-so? Could you please wait? And the daughter or wife said, no, but he's slow. I told, no, give him a time. So which is very important to recognize the listening to the patients and talking to them, sometimes ignored by some of the relatives to take over the control. And you made a very good point about it. I'm really admiring you because for you coming out and talking about this, because I know the side effects of the medications are sometimes worse than the Parkinson's symptoms itself.
Exactly.
So some of the neurologists, they delay starting the levodopa and give dopamine agonists like other drugs. But over 70 years, we tend to start the levodopa early because to give the quality of life quality of time given to them we have to give them time to improve. But younger patients, they wait and they treat. Mainly younger patients are referred to National Neurology Hospital, Queen's Care or anything, but a lot of district general hospitals deal with a lot of elderly people. It is very good to hear your experience in that. Did you have, when you first diagnosed and referred, did you have the support of they referred you to the Parkinson nurse specialist or therapist? Because a lot of time, sometimes it's not done. Patients are left with the diagnosis and told, and sometimes start medication and sent home. But the role of Parkinson nurse specialist is very, very important, and which you mentioned in your talk. Very nice to hear that. But I'm just asking
Sure.
for.
I didn't, when I was diagnosed, I don't think I didn't feel that there was the right support for people. It was all geared for the older generation because, as you said, they have different needs to people of younger age, and,
Yeah.
and of course, the medication they can take it strong started to. They have, assumedly, a certain amount of years, so might as well enjoy them in a good quality. Whereas at the younger age, you have to really think about it because you have you want to be there for your family. I wanted to be there for my family.
Yeah.
My no, I don't think I had the support. In fact, when I went to my local group, and because of the Parkinsons UK, I think I was one of the people that kind of drove the new groups for working age groups that people can meet together. So I did not think. I don't think I had the right support for.
Sure.
There's no support, proper support for people of working age, and it needs to be tackled better. I don't think I was. So that's why one of the reasons why I'm doing these talks to to
Yeah.
to bring awareness, that to give hope to people that have Parkinson's,
Yeah.
and fight for the,
Yeah.
and that's one of the main reasons. So
You know,
hopefully,
Thank you so much, Amparo. Thank you, Kata. Please hold on. We are going to go back, and I have more questions to you, Kata, and to Amparo and other doctors on the platform. So, but it is almost that time of the day to say goodbye to people who are joining us from the Facebook. So until next time, same place, to speak about mindful co-parenting with the Jaconis. Let's say goodbye for the time being. Until then, stay safe, be happy, and keep smiling.